Coins are small, ordinary things. We carry them, lose them behind couch cushions, and forget the faces stamped into metal. Yet every so often, one of these tiny discs becomes a legend. A rumor begins. Suddenly a penny could buy a car. A quarter might be worth more than your rent. Or an everyday coin proves to be a museum piece. Today, we dive into coin myths, starting with the centuries-old stories around Liberty and Lincoln cents, then snapping forward to something closer to home, the 1997 quarter. What's true, what's wild fiction, and what are collectors actually paying at auction? Let's find out. When people say Liberty cent, they might mean different things. In the earliest years of the United States Mint, the word liberty often appeared on the obverse on coins from the late 1700s and early 1800s. These large cents, heavy, almost half-dollar sized, are far from the modern penny. Later, in 1909, the Lincoln cent replaced earlier designs and eventually became the tiny, copper-colored fixture we know today. Cut to archival photos of large cents, close-ups of Liberty designs, then a Lincoln cent on a table. That long history matters because myths tend to attach themselves to things that have been around a long time. The longer a coin story, the more time for rumor to grow, for fables to be repeated, and for a little truth to fuse with imagination. Myth number 1. Pennies were melted down from bullets and war shell casings. It's a persistent image. Soldiers, scrapyards, melted shell casings fed into coin production. The romantic version says wartime metal was recycled into pennies as a patriotic act. Reality is more prosaic. During major conflicts, governments do adjust coin metals for conservation. In World War II, the US altered planchet composition for pennies. But the story that everyday post-war pennies were made from bullets and shells is an exaggeration. The US government did reclaim metal and heavily reused materials. But circulating coin planchets came from regulated mint suppliers, not random battlefield salvage. Why the myth persists? Dramatic mental image, a tidy narrative of recycling and patriotism, and the fact that people once did reuse metal for war production, which makes the leap believable. Myth number 2. If it's old, it must be valuable. A 1909 penny? A 1955 penny? People assume that the older a coin is, the more it's worth. But collectors live and die by rarity plus condition plus story. A mass-minted coin from a century ago can still be worth face value if it's worn flat. Conversely, a modern era coin that slipped through mainline inspection might fetch serious money. Take the 1909 SVDB, Lincoln cent. It's famous because the designer's initials, VDB, appeared on the reverse of that year's coins and were then removed, making some of the early struck San Francisco pieces scarce and desirable. But even that coin's value depends heavily on grade and finish. Auction records over recent years show 1909 SVDB examples selling for a few $1,000s in high grades. Myth number 3. The Henry Ford story. Bring one to the dealership and get a new car. One of the most charming myths involves Henry Ford allegedly offering a new car to anyone who could find a 1943 bronze Lincoln cent, the scarce era, where bronze planchets were used, during a year when most pennies were zinc-coated steel. That tale spread like wildfire in the 1940s and beyond. Help wanted. Cash reward, new car. Like many urban legends, it's built on a kernel of truth. A few 1943 bronze cents exist and they are incredibly valuable. But the Ford for a penny part? Pure folklore. The existence of the coins is real. The dealership-sized reward, not so much. For the factual history and documented sales of 1943 bronze cents, see auction records and specialist coverage. Myth number 4. Double-die pennies are everywhere and worth a fortune. People love the image of a doubled date or doubled liberty, screaming out of a worn penny, a proof of hidden value. The reality, genuine doubled die. Lincoln cents of famous types, like the 1955 doubled die obverse, are both real and rare, and they are worth money. But many claimed doubled dies are simply machine doubling or post-mint damage. Proper certification by PCGS, NGC, or another respected grading service is crucial. Don't confuse wear or strike anomalies with true hub doubling. Many worth a fortune claims on social media are unverified. Look up specific varieties before you sell or buy. Myth number 5. All misprints are automatically worth thousands. Not all minting errors bring huge money. Some off-center strikes or weakly struck coins are common and have modest premiums. The jackpot errors, off-center by a specific degree, dramatic die cracks, or sample planchette misuses, are rarer. Again, rarity plus eye appeal plus documentation equals value. If there's one penny that turns myth into mania, it's the 1943 bronze Lincoln cent. In 1943, the US Mint used zinc-coated steel blanks for pennies to save, copper for World War II, but a handful of bronze planchets were struck by mistake, and those coins became instant legend. The 1943 bronze Lincoln cent is extraordinarily rare. Over the years, authenticated examples have surfaced in both public auction and private sale contexts, often commanding six-figure prices. Heritage auctions and specialized numismatic reporting have documented multiple sales, including high four- and six-figure results, rising into the hundreds of thousands depending on grade and provenance. For example, Heritage's public records and specialist auction reporting show examples selling in the hundreds of thousands. One notable sale realized roughly $264,000 in January 2025. For a transitional alloy error listed $55 Australian. The drama behind these coins, their rarity, the mint's denial at the time, the lucky classroom discovery in 1947, that vindicated the stories, all make them numismatic icons. They also make them targets for forgers and confusing claims. So provenance and third-party authentication are essential. If ancient coins attract myth for having lived through eras, modern coins attract myth for a different reason: mass circulation plus the internet. People scour pocket change. Someone posts a dramatic rare find on a forum or in a YouTube thumbnail. The image goes viral. Quarter myths often center on supposed mint mark oddities, secret P mint marks, double dies, or misstruck coins thought to be worth hundreds or thousands. A coin like a 1997 quarter was produced in the hundreds of millions. By default, most examples are worth only face value. Still, high-grade specimens and documented errors can reach collector premiums. The trick is separating the truly rare from the routine. Let's look at the 1997 Washington quarter, a coin many of us might have used this week to park at a meter. What myths swirl around it? List on screen. Common 1997 quarter myths. There's a hidden P mint mark from Philadelphia. Double die 1997 quarters are everywhere. Some 1997 quarters are being sold for thousands on auction sites. 1. The hidden P mint mark, short version, the Philadelphia Mint did not place a visible P on quarters in the 1990s. At that time, Philadelphia Mint coins typically had no mint mark. The P appeared on quarters later, starting with special issues and gradually from 2008 onward on some denominations. So claims of a secret P on a standard 1997 quarter are usually misunderstandings or doctored images. 2. Double die 1997 quarters. Are they common? Double dies do exist for many dates. For the 1997 Washington quarter there are a few listed die varieties and minor double die anomalies. But truly valuable double die quarters are rare and must be certified. A lot of internet listings advertising double die 1997 quarter are low-grade pieces or misidentified. Verified double die quarters in lower grades typically bring only modest premiums. If you suspect a double die, have it photographed and compared with reference guides and, if warranted, submitted to a grading service. So what are 1997 quarters selling for at auction? Surveys of auction records and price guides show the following pattern. Typical circulated 1997 quarters are worth face value 25 cents, with small premiums for uncirculated examples. High certified grades, MS67, MS68, and select errors can fetch tens, hundreds, or in exceptional cases, a few $1,000s, depending on grade, rarity of the variety, and the auction house. For example, PCGS auction records show MS67 and MS68, 1997 quarters that sold for modest sums, tens to a few $100s in many instances. And specialist record sites note a rare MS67 Plus, very high grade example bringing several $1,000s at a high-end sale historically. But those are extreme outliers, not the norm. If you find a 1997 quarter with a dramatic error, off-center strike, an easily visible double die, or a very unusual planchette, document it. Do not clean it. Photograph both sides with scale. And consider getting an expert opinion. But don't expect instant millions just because a photo appears in a message board. Most realistic auction values for this date and type cluster close to face value unless the coin is an exceptional mint state or a documented error. Auction prices are not just about the coin. They're about the story that comes with it. Provenance, who owned the coin and where it was last sold. Third-party certifications, PCGS, NGC, ANAX. And detailed condition reports all feed into the final hammer price. A coin with impeccable provenance and top grade might sell for far more than a similar coin with no papers. Reputable houses, Heritage, Stacksbauers, Great Collections, and others publish realized prices. Specialist numismatic databases like PCGS's, auction prices or Heritage's archives let you track past sales. And they show that while exceptional specimens can command thousands or more, the average 1997 quarter sale price is modest. 4 high-profile penny rarities. Heritage has documented multiple sales of 1943, bronze pennies and other famous Lincoln cents. Where realized, prices reached the mid to high hundreds of thousands, depending on grade and year. Always check those auction archives before you assume your coin is worth a fortune. Story 1. The Cafeteria Corner. The boy who found a bronze penny. In 1947, a teenager named Don Lutz reportedly found a bronze 1943 penny, proof that the myth had a seed of reality. That find changed how collectors and the mint viewed the era's production anomalies, and it fed decades of speculation. The myth of the bronze pennies and the Ford story blossomed from small human discoveries like this. Story 2. The 1955 Double Die Panic. In 1955, a dramatic double-die Lincoln cent slipped into circulation. Collectors spotted it. Dealers bought jars of change. Museums and newspapers picked it up. The coin became a cause célèbre and taught the hobby a lesson about die-making errors. Certified examples now bring collector attention and solid auction results. Story 3. The modern internet find. A YouTuber posts a close-up of a 1997 quarter with an odd line on the obverse. The video gets 1 million views and comments full of "sell it now." In many of these viral finds, subsequent expert analysis shows a common manufacturing anomaly or a post-mint damage, something that looks dramatic at thumbnail scale but is ordinary under the loupe. That's not to say the internet doesn't unearth treasures. It does, but it also creates a lot of noise. If you want to look for coins that might be worth more, here's a short checklist. 1. Date and mint mark. Is the date fully readable? Any unusual mint mark placement? 4. Older cents. Is it a 1909 SVDB or another early variety? 4. Modern quarters. Note mint mark and any unusual additions. 2. Condition. Grade. Is the coin crisp? Shine and detail matter. A coin in MS65 looks very different from a heavily circulated example. 3. Errors. Off-center strikes. Broad strikes, clipped planchets, planchette composition anomalies, like a bronze planchette where it should be steel. And true double dies are worth extra attention, but only if the error is clear and consistent with known varieties. 4. Don't clean. Scrubbing patina destroys value. If you think you have a rarity, do not clean it. Photograph instead. 5. Get a second opinion. Post high-quality images on reputable numismatic forums. Check auction archives, and if the coin looks serious, consider submission to PCGS or NGC. Narrator, practical tip. A quick reality check. Most 1997 quarters are worth face value. Most Lincoln cents are also modest unless they're a known variety in high grade. But a well-documented error or a top-grade coin can be worth considerably more, sometimes thousands. When you want to check prices, use multiple sources: PCGS auction prices, Heritage Auctions realized price archives, and established price guides. For pennies and classic US coins, Heritage and PCGS are gold standards for realized prices and for auction history. Aggregators and reseller sites like eBay or specialist dealers give additional context, but watch for seller hype. For authentication and grading, rely on professional grading services, such as PCGS or NGC. They'll give a coin a numerical grade and an encapsulation that buyers and sellers trust. When in doubt about a supposed miracle find, a third-party certificate goes a long way towards settling disputes and increasing buyer confidence. Coins anchor us to time. They tell small stories of designers, minting technology, war economies, and craft. Myths grow around them because humans love stories. The 1943 bronze penny will always be an intoxicating legend. The 1955 double die will always start a collecting craze. The internet will always find, and sometimes invent, supposed treasures. But the hobby keeps us honest. Provenance, grading, and auction records cut through exaggeration. If you treasure a coin, research it. If it's valuable, document it. And if it's not, enjoy the texture of history under your thumb. After all, even a common penny once had the power to change someone's day.